Hi, I'm Shashi and this is Karisu. Throughout our lives in history books and all, we've heard of many dictators like Hitler and Musharraf going on. Right now in the 21st century, there's one guy who's following on their footsteps, being extremely stubborn to hold on to power by doing anything and everything. Yes, I'm talking about current President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, who's trying to hold on to his power to a presidential election he already lost. And if you think the title of my video is rather rude, like who are you to call him a dictator or what makes you say this isn't my title. This is CNN's headline yesterday. And if you look at the international reaction right now, everyone is backing away from Joe Biden. Even the president of China hasn't actually congratulated Joe Biden or anything yet. And if Trump manages to hold on to power after the 20th of January, it's a big question mark to democracy everywhere. So what are Donald Trump's plan to hold on to power and how it will actually affect us, Malaysia? Before you look into all of that, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and we can get straight to it. So first thing first, we need to know this thing about Trump. He is a very outspoken person. If you follow him on Twitter or anything, even if you watch the news during the election times, you know that he's not the kind of person who would hide away. He's always out in the media. He's always talking to the people. His strategy is to use media as a way to be close with people. Even when he had COVID also, he was out doing rallies and stuff. As long as he can be with the people, he was happy. And just for your information, Joe Biden is not the president of the United States yet. All these will only be decided after December 14. The result that we have now, which says Joe Biden is leading and Joe Biden won the presidential election, and all the news that you see is all just trends. Usually like how our normal election also, when we see the trend of the votes going one side, we know who will more likely be the president. The same thing is going on in the US. So he's not actually been named the US president yet. But if you look at Trump's attitude ever since the voting counting started, the vote counts were started, he has not appeared in any television at all. And historically, and this is from CNN as well, when you look at the trends of other dictators, those who want to hold on to power regardless of the consequence or regardless of the election polls, this is a trend that they follow. They go extremely quiet and there will not be any appearance of them on TV. Even our own country can be a good example of that. So if you're wondering when is Joe Biden actually president, Joe Biden will be the actual president of the United States only on 20th of January. And between now and January 20th, there are 70 days in between. And Trump is using these 70 days to do whatever he can to hold on to power. For example, Joe Biden has now started to collect his people, like who's gonna stand for what post, who's gonna take care of which part of the country, which department and everything. And at the same time as he's doing that, Trump is firing the people who are already in that position and hiring his loyalists, people who only listen to him, people who want him to win, to fill up all those positions. So in case of any problem, what Trump says goes, because these people do everything that he say. Even during COVID, if you notice, when he said don't need to wear masks, most of the population did not wear masks. As a consequence, they have the highest COVID cases on earth right now. So if you're wondering what else is Trump doing, he's actually blocking all the international messages which are supposed to go to Joe Biden. All the messages from the entire world which is directed to Joe Biden is all stopped by the Trump administration and saying, look, we are in power here, not Joe Biden. And Donald Trump is the president of the United States. And to top this all off, Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of States in the United States, and Secretary of States is actually quite a powerful position. They are the representative of US in every other country. And he actually said, when asked, will there be a peaceful transference of power, a peaceful transition? He said there will be a peaceful continuation of a second Trump term. And this was openly said to every other country there is. And usually the conceding party, the party which just lost the election, would not do any major government decision, any major international decisions for the country. But Mike Pompeo actually said that they already planned visits to 7 countries to strengthen their relationship with US. And if you're one of those people who say like, let him do whatever he wanna do, on the January of 20th, Joe Biden is the president of the United States regardless of what Trump does. Here's where you have to understand their voting system. It's not like ours here in Malaysia. They use the electoral college system. If you don't understand what that is, comment down below. I'll do a video on how it actually works. But to be brief, electoral college votes are this lump of votes, like maybe 5 or 8 or 10. That's the race you saw to reach 270 in the presidential election. These votes come from the electoral college. And in case there's a problem in the election system, for example voting fraud, or they are unable to count the votes, this electoral college will go to whomever they choose. whomever they want or whomever they like the best. And Trump actually lost in 4 states which he claims had electoral frauds going on. These were Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, if you're following the electoral presidency. And in case the court manages to prove that there was an electoral fraud there were rigged, the election was rigged, these 4 states electoral college votes can go to Trump. Very high possibility of them going to Trump. And if that happens, it doesn't matter whether Joe Biden won the election or not. Constitutionally, Trump will still be president. And this whole thing seems like it was pre-planned by Trump for the past 4 years. Because the moment the election ended, he claimed that there was fraud in the election. Take 1. Second, he said need to recount all the votes. Take 2. And third, he said the Democratic Party has rigged the entire electoral system. Take 3. And now they have filed cases in most of the states to say that there was a fraudulent system, the electoral system was rigged and everything. And luckily for now, luckily for democracy, these cases were all rejected by the court. That means they say there's no admissible proof. If you can provide admissible proof, you can provide concrete proof that there was an actual fraud or the system is actually rigged, then we'll take on the case. So if you're wondering how can he do this, won't anybody question him? Isn't there a body to question him? Regardless of how many body there is, they are still under Trump. He is literally the most powerful man on earth. And even if they bring the entire case to Supreme Court, the Supreme Court is filled with his judges, people that he personally appointed. So in case anything was brought into Supreme Court also, there's a high likelihood that Trump will still win the case. And if he does win the case, it's a very bad example of democracy to the entire world. Even for us right now, our current ruling government was not democratically elected. And if the most powerful country on earth is able to do this, every other crooked politicians from all around the world are going to follow Donald Trump's example. So whether this is a coup or not, we'll know on December 14th when all the electoral college votes are supposed to be in. So on December 14th, we'll know who's the actual president of the United States. And hopefully after that, the president of China will actually congratulate Joe Biden, because as of now, there is no finalized result who's the president of the United States. And at the end of the video, the question I want to ask you is, what do you think will happen? Will Donald Trump stay in power? Will he do whatever he can to manipulate the system and retain as the president of the United States for the second term? Or will democracy win? Will Joe Biden somehow still come up on top in the end? Comment down your thoughts below. And before we end, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and like the video so that the videos we post on a daily basis will come directly to your YouTube newsfeed. And until the next video, bye bye.